Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
American Samoa is the only U.S. territory in the Southern Hemisphere, located just southeast of where the equator meets the international dateline in the heart of Polynesia. It is roughly equidistant from Sydney, Australia, and Honolulu, lying 2,300 miles south-southwest of Hawaii. American Samoa consists of 5 volcanic and 2 coral islands, with a total land area of only 76 square miles. The main island of Tutuila, which you see here, has 2/3 of the territory's land area and is representative of the inhabited volcanic islands, consisting of a steep mountain spine with a narrow coastal fringe. Rainfall averages about 200 inches per year and frequently produces landslides from the steep mountain slopes. The ever-present salt spray, combined with the high tropical humidity, makes corrosion a severe problem for all metal items. The immediate proximity of ocean breakers to the shore creates distinct erosion problems along the coast during heavy weather, affecting the main road, schools, and villages. Originally settled by adventurous seafarers about 3,000 years ago, American Samoa still proudly preserves its cultural heritage. As the core of the Samoan system, the Matais, or family chiefs, control their family's land and represent its members in traditional village and county gatherings. Selected by the family for life, each Matai has a unique title and is either a chief or a chief's spokesman, known as a talking chief. In addition to their traditional family and village duties, the Matais also have direct political power through their selection of the members of the Territorial Senate and delegates to this year's Constitutional Convention. Despite long affiliation with the United States, American Samoa's cultural traditions remain strong, helped in part by a commitment from the federal government to preserve the foundation of the Samoan culture, the communal land system. Under this system, the family as a whole retains permanent title to the land, while members are allocated a portion for their own use. There were 32,000 people in the territory as of the 1980 census, an 18% increase over the 1970 figure. Over 90% of the population is of Samoan ethnic origin. However, close to a third is from Western Samoa, which has many strong family ties with American Samoa. American Samoans are U.S. maintained with American Samoans in the U.S., where there are twice as many as in the territory itself. In recent years, there has been a small, growing number of people returning to American Samoa from life in the U.S. The U.S. flag was first raised on the main island of Tutuila on April 17, 1900. An international agreement with Great Britain and Germany had resulted in the partition of the Samoan Islands, and what is now American Samoa was ceded to the U.S. by the traditional leaders of the islands. April 17th, Flag Day, is still the major holiday of the year in the territory. President McKinley designated the U.S. Navy as the administering agency of American Samoa, and the captain of the small fueling station also served as governor. Prior to World War II, Navy activity was basically limited to the Bay Area. The naval governors took pains to prevent the alienation of land and any undue outside influence on the traditional culture. The outbreak of the war, however, saw an explosion of activity as thousands of Marines, Seabees, and sailors swarmed over Tutuila, building roads, airfields, fortifications, and support facilities. Much of what they built is still in use today. Following the defeat of Japan, the strategic value of American Samoa diminished. With the recognition that civil government was the preferred approach, President Truman transferred the administration of the territory to the Department of the Interior in 1951. During the closure of the naval station, many American Samoans took advantage of Navy offers of cheap transportation to the U.S., thus founding the Samoan communities in Hawaii and the West Coast. The early years of Interior administration were marked by a paucity of funds at a time when the population had grown significantly and there was no local industry or agriculture to speak of. Significant developments during the 1950s included the establishment of a small tuna storage facility by Van Camp Seafood in 1954, the appointment of Governor Peter Tolly Coleman as the first Samoan to hold that post in 1956, and, near the end of his term, the beginning of work on an international airport, marine railway, and the territory's first constitution in 1960. The change of presidential administrations in 1961, combined with the stimulus of a damning article in the Reader's Digest and the need to prepare for the 1962 South Pacific Conference in the territory, began a new era for American Samoa. Suddenly, federal funds became available for a wide variety of development projects. The site of the South Pacific Conference was built, the international airport was completed, the main road was paved for much of its length for the first time, a new power plant was built, and improvements were made to the old Navy water system. A massive effort was begun to upgrade the territory's educational system, with schools springing up throughout the islands. A totally new approach was taken, the use of television as the primary means of instruction, and a complete television production facility with 6 channels, KVZK TV, went on the air in 1964 as the South Pacific's first television station. At the same time, Van Camp Seafood's facility was transformed into a tuna cannery, while competitor Starkist built another next door. A local industry was created with both employment and tax benefits. Regular air service to Hawaii and New Zealand began for the first time since World War II. A new port warehouse was built, and the government acquired tugboats and inter-island vessels to service the outlying islands and villages. With the growth of the Korean and Taiwanese long-line fishing fleets, the marine railway repair facility was expanded to handle additional traffic. A new hospital was built, the most modern in the South Pacific. It was a boom time. As the 1970s began, the territory elected a delegate at large to Washington, D.C., A.U. Fuemono, to provide a voice independent of that of the appointed governor. A community college was established, while the public education system began to use television more as a supplement than as a primary means of instruction. A major drought in 1974 forced closure of the 2 tuna canneries, and, with the resulting loss of local tax revenues, layoffs by the government. As a result, an extensive water supply development program was begun, converting the existing system from reliance on small water catchments to a multitude of wells located in the widest portion of Tutuila, about 6 miles from the downtown area. An industrial park was established in the same area, along with a new second power plant. By the mid-1970s, with growing political self-awareness and some prodding from Washington, the people of American Samoa voted to elect their own governor after a few plebiscites. The first local gubernatorial election was held in November 1977 and returned Peter Tolly Coleman to office after a 16-year career in the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands. In 1978, in an 11th-hour move, Congressman Philip Burton guided a bill through Congress which gave American Samoa a congressional delegate like that of Guam or the Virgin Islands as of the 1980 elections. In 1980, Governor Coleman and Lieutenant Governor Tufelilia were re-elected, and Fofo Sunia was picked as the territory's first congressman. American Samoa has had problems with power generation. As on many other South Pacific islands, reliance on diesel generators, rapid corrosion, the use of a one-line system, the great distance from parts suppliers, old equipment, the lack of any alternate source of power, and civil service wage and job security problems all contribute to making reliable electric power a difficult goal to achieve. The lack of in-depth job training and fiscal constraints compounded the situation. The American Samoa Power Authority, ASPA, was created in 1982 as a semi-autonomous government agency to improve the electric utility. Continuing maintenance and manpower training programs were instituted, along with a major equipment rehabilitation project funded by the federal government, while accounts receivable were reduced and electric rates raised. As a result, extended power outages due to equipment failure have practically been eliminated, and a reserve capacity of 80 to 100% has been built up. With adequate funding for capital equipment and a controlled maintenance program, ASPA's executive director is now showing other U.S. Pacific islands how to upgrade their electric power systems. Although ASPA has received the necessary funding, both local and federal, to ensure that it is capable of doing its job, the same is not true for the government as a whole. General controlled maintenance of government facilities, primarily buildings, has received only modest funding. Most government buildings were built in World War II and in the 1960s. The concentration of the government on basic development diverted attention from controlled maintenance of existing facilities for many years. Now it is difficult to fund the concept. Public Works Director Evan Ted Tumlinson talks about the need for controlled maintenance.
Well, the term control maintenance means the systematic inspection and maintenance of everything the government owns in the way of buildings, roads, sewer, water, docks, etc. The main dock down there is getting in bad shape. The main wharf building is in bad shape. All of our government buildings are in bad shape, simply because we don't have the money to repair them if we got the control maintenance program implemented. About 6 months ago, CIP met on the subject of what it would take to implement the program and what we'd do with it if we got the money. And we came up with about $2 million as a requirement for the first year, and it should take about that every year. We've got a lot of termite damage that's rendered wooden structures beyond actual repair, economic repair. We've got. I'm concerned about the main dock and the fendering system and the roof on that warehouse building at the main dock, and I'm concerned about the hospital, the repair of the hospital, and I'm concerned about our school buildings. We've got many school buildings that are leaking, and that they need to just, the money that required would be quite extensive to bring those buildings back up to the state of repair that they should be maintained in all the time. And once we got them maintained, then the money that would be required to maintain them would be reduced, of course.
In the past few years, both local tuna canneries, Starkist and Van Camp, have doubled their production and plan to increase it another 40 to 50% in the next year, encouraged by government tax policy and the shift of the tuna industry to the Western Pacific. Both canneries now operate with double shifts and have significantly increased their employment. Another dramatic change in the tuna industry in American Samoa is the extensive introduction of modern purse seiners to augment the Oriental longline fleet. Although non-existent here 5 years ago, 50 purse seiners now operate out of Pago Pago, making it the largest tuna port in the Pacific. In order to facilitate growth of the territory's primary industry, the government has recently undertaken several major port improvement projects, adding 1,100 feet of dock space, expanding the marine railway to accommodate the large purse seiners, and building a new local fisheries dock. The recently completed main dock expansion stayed within its $5.5 million budget, but there is still a need to pave the expanded container storage area and provide adequate support facilities. The multi-million-dollar marine railway project has had its problems. Unexpected problems with pile driving, management, and funding delays have delayed its completion and caused significant cost overruns. The 2,000-ton capacity graving dock for purse seiners is scheduled to be completed in a few months. However, there is a great need to renovate the railway shops to handle the different equipment used by the large modern purse seiners. The local fisheries dock project has just been started. It has already become clear, though, that present funds are insufficient to permit installation of needed shore facilities, such as refrigerated storage, to continue the government's fisheries development program. Over the past several years, the local business community has expanded, helped in part by establishment of an industrial park and an economic development loan fund. The government has increased its use of local business for the purchase of supplies and is now reviewing what government services can be turned over to the private sector. The great expansion of the tuna industry has opened up a variety of opportunities for further business development. Unfortunately, leases of communal land are not preferred as collateral by private lenders. This greatly reduces the amount of property available for commercial development. The government is already the largest commercial landlord, but efforts to expand the industrial park and move government offices from prime downtown real estate have been hampered by a lack of funds. Another major constraint to business development in American Samoa is insufficient capital. Because the communal land system prevents foreclosure sales, no private lender or federal agency provides home mortgage funds at the current time. The local development bank has a waiting list several years long for $20,000 maximum home loans. Venture capital is also scarce. Although the Small Business Administration has provided some assistance, there have been problems with management review and technical assistance. The Development Bank's Economic Development Loan Fund also suffers this problem, but is further hampered by insufficient funds. Economic Development Planning Office Director Joseph Pereira has this to say about constraints on business development in the territory.
Well, the two constraints that it's impeding the economic growth for the territory is one, the availability of land to accommodate business expansion, and the other one is the availability of venture capital. The existence of purse seiners provide economic opportunities for people in terms of provisioning of the boats, provisioning of spare parts for the boats themselves and the helicopters that are on the boats. The other major potential created by the existence of purse seiners is the need for warehousing. The purse seiners have requested this office for space to build warehousing to store large amounts of salt and net facilities, net repair facilities, and other needed equipment for the servicing of the purse seiners. The biggest problem precluding and constraining the efforts of the private sector to build office buildings, which is so much demanded both by the government and the private sector, is land. The government is absorbing and using most of the arable land and valuable real estate that should be turned over to the private sector for development. My office, or the whole government land in the Whangatōnga area, is the best real estate that is available for business expansion, and yet the government is occupying that land. So there is need for government to centralize its activities so that the land can be made available to the private sector. The problem with government, of course, in precluding its centralization program is the absence of capital.
Although the baby boom is over in the United States, it isn't in American Samoa. The schools that were built 20 years ago in the heyday of educational television are no longer large enough to cope with ever-increasing numbers of students. Most of them are also in need of extensive renovation. The Department of Education is trying to upgrade the quality of instruction through teacher training programs, but this work is hampered by growing class size. Medical care at the territory's LBJ Tropical Medical Center is among the best in the South Pacific. However, rising medical costs combined with declining federal budgetary support have put a financial squeeze on the health department. Despite instituting an unpopular increase in medical fees, entry into the Medicaid program, and increased reimbursement from Medicare, Champus, workmen's compensation, and private insurance programs, the still lacks the funds to acquire all of the trained personnel and equipment needed to provide the desired level of health care in the territory. The 16-year-old hospital also needs major repairs, which have been put off for a lack of money. One of the major government success stories in recent years is the improvement in local telephone and communication services. Funded solely by its own revenues, the Office of Communications has acquired satellite service, replacing the dated shortwave system in use for 20 years, built 5 of the most modern digital telephone exchanges anywhere in the Pacific region, and increased the number of local trunk lines. Local long-distance telephone rates have been reduced, and plans call for the addition of new communication services. The territory of American Samoa has made a lot of progress since federal funding became available in significant amounts and the local tuna industry developed in the early 1960s. Many basic improvements have been made. At the same time, it must be remembered that prior to that period, local projects were primarily limited to what best served the needs of the Navy, not the population as a whole. Although additional development projects are still needed, there is a growing requirement for controlled maintenance of existing facilities in order to maximize their utility. Local access to venture capital and technical assistance are necessary to improve the territory's economy. As we say in Samoa, tofa soifua.
customs we call our own, but they seem to gain more importance when you're far away from home. Our people touch the same ocean, though our country is quite unique. So as we share our ocean, it's understanding we seek. We are the people of the Pacific, and we've come from far and wide to share and gain experience, working side by side. We are the people of the Pacific. It's our part of the world. So as we learn together, our flag will be unfurled. Though the world still changes daily, we must learn to plan ahead. Peace and understanding is the path that we must tread. The Pacific is more than an ocean. It's a beauty that's all on its own. A sparkling jewel on a planet. Touch it and you're touching home. We are the people of the Pacific, and we've come from far and wide to share and gain experience, working side by side. We are the people of the Pacific. It's our part of the world. So as we learn together, our flag will be unfurled. We are the people of the Pacific.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVZK TV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
Fuli finangalo te mau la tunu e pasia le pili sui ai le mata fayo le kovana o America Samoa le fa ngaso longo paketi. Lulu lima mfato fale LBJ ma le fumai Harold Walker malona faletua. Wa fa la wi le fa mo le T-Bass i se wa onga mo le motusa. Tala fantu i se whapupongo tala me lau KVZK, whaafte tere le whaantasi mai. E te mwantu i tātu tala de dea fiafi. Wa mafuli umawhida ngalo te mau le antunu ue pāsia le pili e sui ai le matafa yoi o le kovano America Samoa. I le whaangasolongo paketi e mo mi ai le fiso soani le fono vaitu la fono o so o se tupe e le i whaamoemoeina e maua o sao terenga nei o le reporti. O le pili e peo na pasia i na fionga i senator, o le pili tau whaao fili e sui ai le matafa yoi o le kovano America Samoa, e le wha ngasolongo o paketi, e mo mia ai le wha soaina e le fono whaitu la fono, o so se tupe le wha moemoeina e maua, ma o le ua pasia nei e te mao le atunu i le whaitaunga lo na tolu, e se fulma le lima na yoe, e pasia le neitu la fono, ai le ai se whaatu i le ese. O lo manino i lea pili le manao mia e wha mautinoina le manino, ma le tali atu i le whaonga aino tūpe maua e le i mawhawhawina e maua mai puna oa ese au fiai le loto i whale, veterale, po isi, male malamalama i le matawha i tau o le whono whaitu la whono i le wawa ai o nei se leni. Ma ua manatu e te tau o na toe teu le tu la whono, o lo iai nei e manao miai le kovana e tu ina atu se pili i wha te tau mo le wha mauninga o le tu la whono au le wha tangaina pe whaonga aina tupe e sili atu i tupe na iai mo mua. O lo fai lo mai foi i le fua fa tau o tupe maua e le fa moi na au fia tu na maua ele territory mai le filoto i fale veterale po isi lava la fua ese mai le udwa i fua fa tau o tupe maua e mafai e le fono fai tu la fono o na talia swinga pete ena le talo sanga e alai fainga masani le tu la fono o le tu la fono tau fa ofi na dia e mai ina ua fa monia le fa ngai no tupe le malo e au noma se fa tananga ale fono fai tu la fono e tu sai ma le tu la fono le malo. Iri so tala o le sole na wha mawai ai le mautaga singa se ma le sunga le fomai a Harold Walker malona faletua i le mai ai o masina na o foi na mai o la wataimi e tautu ai le antunu e ala i le LPJ so tiringal nei o le reporti. O se whainga whanau noa sa ia i le wha mawai ngara mautaga singa se ma le fomai a Harold Walker malona faletua ia keili i le mai ai o le sifuma le valu masina o foi na mai o la wataimi ngara rue ai ma tautua le mamalu le antunu o lo au tofa antu i le LPJ. E peo na sila fio i la ua nei na malanga mai nei le territory e tu sai ma se ngā luenga li ka le sio Yesu Kiriso au pa i o aso e ngā tai. Ma o le so, le ana whaantu te iai le komiti whaafoe e le LBJ se tau mawhutanga o se whaengo se whaafitai a le mauta ngā se mole si sunga i le fuma i a woka malona tō lua. Na tā ua i le sunga i a woka a o ngā lue ai o i la ua nei i le antunu o langona i foi e ia le lofa i tanga tō America Samoa. Sau no foi sui kovana ia la pui tala wenga ile asalo va le ale na ia fa avita ia ile fo ma ia woka malona faletua e tu sai manga wenga sala ia fatino ina nga lulu ile LPJ ma tau tu ina le tno na ia ta wo fo ia fa pe e ese ma le tau wo le nga wenga na fo ina ma ia ile taiminga lue o le fo mai ina ia fai ma fa manatu ma leola nga lue o so sesi lava ina ile territory. Lo ia nei se fofuanga le fale tupe o antina ele Development Bank America Samoa inisio wa onga e fai le mota telo manua e tu sai ma le polo kalama o le mota mai le aso sfuma le fai fa ngante le aso lus frutasi o le masino mati o le tausanga nei o lo iai foi fa si silanga e tusa ma le fa moe mo manua i lunga upenga te fa ilangi e le fa le tupe o atina e a wale si le fia le mamalu le atunu taimi ma afio anga o le fa te tanuanga o le po kalama i manua sa mo se avanua lau KVZK fa te tanuanga ai sui mai le fa le tupe o atina e le tamaitai a Samantha Salanoa a wale fa malama mai no le po kalama tawa
mo le plokalame o le anga vaa mo la to e anga vaa anga tarsanga mai mo se nonga tupe nei plokalame o la to e citizeni America o nationale o America ia afa pe foi la to o mau ia pe no fo mau nei America Samoa o nei plokalame mo fale faafo po le lipea e me fai ona e tarsanga tu anga ilunga le lua se fulu afe ia mo fale fou o le au fai na tarsanga atu e anga i leono sfulima afe o pepa la mwhaina e anga wa ai mo fale fou e tā ua lava ona iai o pepa whanua wa umo na restaurina a wha peo whanua whaitele e te tau ona iei se lisi o se whenga inga lisi o whanua wa mai ona le stala e wha peo whai o tato whanua ia whanua whaatau o individually owned lands e te tau lava ona iei se deed o whanua whapena whanu mai ona restala ina o nei whanua. Mo whale li pēr, whale whaafou, e ma whai ona e anga wa ai me tarasanga atu ai. E mana o miela le pili leo wila, anga i lunga le lua se fulu afe, o mana o tarasanga atu e lola, ia leo le restala o le whale, ta ua leo le separation agreement, o le skala leo le whale. Ia whatasi ai leo maisi pepe e tarasanga atu ai le ofisa e mana o mia, e au fia ila leo le lua local issued valid ID o le kopi o le card sanga le mu ia o pepa e whaomaunia e tupe maua ia whatasi e lola a whapeo whale whaafou o le pili le wila po le restala le whale ia mo tarasanga ia watu mo se whale fou ia amana mia lola ia pepa o whanua o mai ana restala
Ini so tala na saunoa le faipule le konkaresia i whaatale au mo amata i se whanotanga sa whaatutei le astofi. Le ana mafuli ai le na saunoa ngai li tu i le vaumatua o Amerika Samoa. Sau teranga le nei o le ripoti. Na awai le sui o Amerika Samoa le konkaresia i whaatale au mo amata i se whanotanga i le astofi. Manisio lau tu si tala e tararoina le tūlanga i peona iai le vaumatua o Amerika Samoa e meisio vainga whaare natura i nei le territory. Na ia saunoa e whai masui o le Pasifika i saute mai a matai tui nai tūlanga i se esio le vaumatua Amerika Samoa mai le vaumatua Amerika o tātou ele e uvitia ele vaumatua ma i tumu i manu lele au lelei e maisi o manu lo ia i tutono le saunoanga lea au mua amata ma e wha tāua ina uma nei vaenga. O le tūna whunu tau whaawhio lo langolangawina e le tai whono o komiti o pūna o whare dātua ia Bruce Westerman whaatasi ai ma le sui Amerika Samoa le konakaresia a mata o lo ngā lue i le sui komiti o le suavai o le vaumatua ma whai ngā whaiva ma le tele o isi sui usu whono e a vea maurua i lango e au fia ai le tai whono Don Newhouse o le konakaresia sifo. E tusa ma le toono ni sui mai Amerika Samoa le ua fuafua mo lantu teleninga ma sani po le basic training i le ami ma o lea na mawai le avanoa e whailoa iai ma le awhionga i le kovana ia le manu pa le poisia le ngā maunga ma i lantu nei Hawaii le nei viaso o le whai unga e awai i vai ngā au o le ngata o se whiriwhiringa le tangata lava ia mo ngā luenga ai o se tautinonga i le mawaino se lumana i manuia mo i lantu lava mo lantu ainga o le lango mai o ainga o nuuma e kālesia o le awa ai ai fo i le manuia o tau mawhainga whanau i vai ngā au ese le malu tele. E tātou tala mea pia o le au inatu o le vai ngā tupe o nus fufitu miliona le Superannuation Fund a le atunu e le nā o le toa ono tangata whaatau i tonu le iwa masina o mafua isi su e suenga mai le whaatputu ngā tupe ma o tau fia i le porklamo no ngā tupe. O le whai unga na whaia ina ua tulai mai le ministau tupe lau timu ia wale se wha ai e lumo le au whaasara lau ma wha adia ai e leo si la fia le kabineta le telo no ngā tupe wa wha matu wantu i nisi pisi nisi e lima ma se e kālesia ma ia mea le tūsanga na te anei o mai a Februari le tūsanga nei na wha mauni ai e le Samoa National Providence Fund le whewhaata wai ma le mawalunga no ngā tupe e tūsale ma le luse fururua te si ma le 5 miliona na tutongi atu le Sheraton Aggie Grace Resort o pepa na mau mai le Samoa Observer na whaandi ai le lona lua tangata no au pito i tele o le suawai mamāpo le pure water e se fulma le 4 miliona tāla e suma le tolu te si 2 miliona le au whai o le ekalesia a so fitu tuto tasi e Samoa o le vailima na whaamaunia mo le suma le tasi miliona o le isi whātesi ma le 3 miliona na whaamatu wantu i le vaenga le New Pharmacy ma le lua tesi ma le tasi miliona tāla na whaamatu wantu mo ai ono Dr. Alec Ekeroma. E tātou tala mulumulu tala me le Pasifika na tāua ele minista o le Pasifika o Australia Pat Connery e te tau ona le se sao saina i le leo o atu motu le Pasifika o le a o wina e Australia le tele o vaenga o le pui ngolo loto i whale e wha tumu avanoa pe a uma pe mai a foi o na ributia le Reuters o lo ngā lue leo i saina i Kiribati. O le asunga fua na ributia ai e le United States e atunu o le Pasifika e whaasanga i le fisoswani mai o vaenga o le pui ngā saina ina ua whailua i le sui komisina o leo Kiribati i le Reuters i le vaiaso na te nei o lo ngā lue whaatasi leo o saina o lo whaia o lantu toleninga ma ua onga mana leo i no mafio anga mo se porkalame o whaamaumaunga o solitula fono. O si mai ala mai moi se vaingo le tātu tau whapea le tātu tai de nei fo i vaingo le afiafi. O le whaiungora nau tala lau KVZK, manuia tere le whaiungora nea fiafi, tō whāsifua.
Bill to amend the responsibilities of the governor approved unanimously in the Senate. The LBJ bids farewell to Dr. Harold Walker and his wife Kelly after 18 months of volunteer work. The Development Bank of American Samoa extends its Maota program workshops to Manua. Good evening, American Samoa. Here's the latest update from your KVZK TV. Leading the news tonight, a bill seeking to amend the responsibilities of the Governor of American Samoa in the budget procedure to mandate the legislative appropriation of any unanticipated revenues was approved unanimously in the final reading. Joyeta Feangaimali'i with more on this story.
According to the bill, in recognizing the paramount importance of responsible fiscal management in the governance of the territory and the necessity to ensure transparency and accountability in the utilization of unanticipated revenues derived from various sources, including local, federal, or others, understanding the critical role of the legislature in overseeing budgetary allocations to safeguard the public interest. As well as in pursuit of these objectives, it is deemed necessary to amend existing statutes to require the governor to submit an appropriation bill for legislative approval before obligating or expending funds exceeding previously appropriated expenditures. The bill further indicates that unanticipated revenues include those funds received by the territory from local, federal, or other sources that differ from the initial revenue estimates. The legislature may approve, modify, or reject the proposal through standard legislative procedures. The bill came about after it was confirmed that unobligated public funds were utilized without the FONO's approval as per statute. The vote was unanimous. Joyeta Fengay Mali'i with your news on KVZK.
American Samoa farewelled Dr. Harold Walker and his wife Kelly after 18 months of volunteering at the LBJ Hospital. Government officials, medical professionals, and friends attended a luncheon at the DDW restaurant in Utule to bid the couple farewell. Here's more on this report with Joyeta Fengay Mali'i.
It was an emotional farewell with Dr. Harold Walker and his wife Kelly after 18 months of volunteering at the LBJ Hospital. The Walkers were in the territory as part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints medical mission. And today, the LBJ Board of Directors and Management hosted a luncheon as a token of their appreciation for the hard work by the Walkers. While at the LBJ, the luncheon was held at the DDW in Utule. Radiologist Dr. Walker said they fell in love with the people of American Samoa, given their hospitable characters, and that they hope their time here will serve as a testament that service is vital in every aspect of life.
Would just make a plea. There's so many people here that have a stake and have influence in what happens in healthcare on this island, and I would just make a plea to all of you in whatever role that you play, that everything you do and everything you say and every dollar that you spend and every decision that you make is for the benefit of the wonderful people on this island. Sister Walker and I have gotten to know and love in the last 18 months. The people here are such good people, and they deserve so much. And I just hope that everyone involved in healthcare keeps that in mind, that as our Savior said, our goal is to love each other and help each other, and that when we are in the service of other people, we are in the service of God. And I just hope that going forward, each of you in your individual roles in healthcare will always keep that in mind, that whatever you do, please make sure that it's for the best interest, it's in the best interest of the wonderful people who live on this island.
Acting Governor La'apui Talawenga Eliasalo Va'alele'ale acknowledged Dr. Walker and Sister Kelly for all they did for the people of American Samoa. He pointed out that the service by the Walkers serves as a reminder to everyone about the substance of volunteering, which goes a long way.
So on behalf of Governor Limanu and the people of American Samoa, I want to say thank you for your commitment and for your contribution to help our people here in American Samoa. 18 months is a long time to be away from your families and your loved ones. 18 months is a long time to be away on a volunteer mission. And that is a point that I think all of us here in American Samoa can benefit from. The idea of volunteering, the idea of doing things and not expecting to be paid for it. And if there is a place where volunteerism is most needed, is American Samoa. We need people to stand up, raise their hands, and do the right thing, and not waiting for somebody to pay them for it, but just do it. And God will pay you in many more ways than we can ever provide. So I hope the work that our volunteers from the LDS inspire us here in American Samoa to think about volunteering. It doesn't have to be something as great as what Dr. Walker and Kelly have done. You can start by volunteering to coach your kids' softball league, or to be a chaperone and all those things, to put together a group of people and start collecting the trash at your villages. Small things like that can go a long way to improving our community.
Joyetta Mali'i with your news on KVZK.
The Development Bank of American Samoa is now scheduling workshops for their Maota program in Manua that will start on March 14th, ending on March 21st, 2024. An elaborated schedule for these workshops at Manua is now available for the public's information on their Facebook page. Recently, your KVZK TV had the opportunity to speak to DBAS representative, Ms. Timina Vaivao, about their Maota program.
Maota is a affordable loan program with low and moderate income to build new home construction and to renovate existing home structures. Maota also stands for Malu Apitanga o Tangata America Samoa, which is translated into secure and safe homes for the people of American Samoa. Our income scale, we have an income scale attached to our applications, and it is based on the number of households in your family, and it ranges from about 19,000 to 82,000 for our 1% interest rate, and our 2% interest rate is up to 31,000 to 133,000 income.
Congresswoman Wifatali Amata took part in a Capitol press conference on Thursday in the House Radio and TV Correspondents Gallery to highlight American Samoa's wildlife and natural habitat. Here's more on this report with Joyetta Mali'i.
Congresswoman Wifatali Amata took part in a Capitol press conference on Thursday in the House Radio and TV Correspondents Gallery to highlight American Samoa's wildlife and natural habitat as part of the rollout of America's Wildlife Habitat Conservation Act. She spoke on behalf of the South Pacific, noting that the wildlife is unique compared to U.S. native wildlife. She said, I quote, "Our land is covered with tropical rainforest, teeming with life and rugged mountains, coastlines, as well as coral reefs. We have abundant small wildlife, lovely birds, large coconut crabs, and everything from whales to microscopic life in our waters. We value all of them," unquote. The bill is sponsored by Natural Resources Committee Chairman Bruce Westerman, with Congresswoman Wifatali, who serves on the Water, Wildlife, and Fisheries Subcommittee, and several other members as original co-sponsors, including Chairman Dan Newhouse of the bipartisan Congressional Western Caucus, on which Amata also serves as a vice chair.
I represent beautiful islands in the South Pacific, and much of our wildlife is unique in terms of U.S. native wildlife. Our land is covered with tropical rainforest, teeming with life, and rugged mountainous coastlines and coral reefs. We have abundant small wildlife, lovely birds on land, large coconut crabs, and in our waters, everything from whales to microscopic life, and we value all of them. One animal has become somewhat symbolic of American Samoa in art and culture. Our flying fox, a large fruit bat, was chosen for our National Park of American Samoa quarter by the U.S. Mint. It's a vital part of our rainforest ecology, and we have seabird habitat, such as our steep, uninhabited Pola Island at Waiava Strait Natural Landmark. We have many land snails, sisivao, ranging from common to rare, some found only in the Samoan Islands that leave behind shells, like these on this handmade Samoan ula. So thank you, Chairman Westerman, for this great bill. I'm delighted to support it. Our people in our national park would make any of you very welcome if you are ever in the South Pacific to see our wonderful wildlife.
Joy Tefengay Mali'i with your news on KVZK.
6 American Samoans set to begin basic training with the United States Army briefly met with Governor Lemanu Palipoy Sialingamaunga in Hawaii this week. The governor's office released a statement noting this significant and proud moment for American Samoa. The decision to join the armed forces is not only a personal choice for these recruits, but a commitment to securing a better future for themselves and their families. Just as Samoan individuals are taught to navigate the vast ocean waters, these recruits are now setting sail into uncharted territory, embarking on a journey toward personal growth, professional development, and service to their country. These supportive networks of family, village, and church stand as pillars of strength, cheering them on as they step into the next chapter of their lives. As they undergo basic training, they carry the cultural values that have shaped their identities, reinforcing the Samoan spirit of resilience, community, and determination. In news from Apia, the lending of $67 million by the country's superannuation fund to just 6 clients in 9 months has prompted an investigation from the fund, with the investment loan scheme being halted.
The lending of 67 million tala by the country's superannuation fund to just 6 clients in 9 months has prompted an investigation from the fund, with the investment loan scheme being halted. The decision came after the Minister of Finance, Lautimuia Weleseva'ai, fronted the media and revealed the cabinet was unaware of the large loan disbursement to 5 businesses and a church. From May 2023 to February this year, the Samoa National Provident Fund approved the transaction, with the highest loan of 22.5 million tala paid out to Sheraton Aggie Grays Resort. Documents obtained by the Samoa Observer showed the second biggest borrower is Pure Water, taking 14 million tala. Samoa Independent Seventh-day Adventist Church, or SISTAC, received a total of 13.2 million tala. By Lima Breweries was approved for 11 million tala. Another 4.3 million tala was dispersed to New Pharmacy, and for 2.1 million tala to Iono Dr. Alec Ekeroma, the current Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Health. Lautimuia further noted the board makes those decisions with the SNPF management and does not reach the minister and cabinet. In light of the reports, the minister advised the SNPF to cease large investment loans until an investigation is completed, while members' loans and entitlements can still roll out. Joyeta Fiangay Mali'i with your news on KVZK.
In news from the region, Australia's Pacific Minister Pat Conroy said China should have no role in policing the Pacific Islands. Australia will train more local security forces to fill gaps after Reuters reported that Chinese police are working in Kiribati. On Monday, the United States cautioned Pacific Island nations against assistance from Chinese security forces after Kiribati's acting police commissioner told Reuters last week that uniformed Chinese officers were working with its police in community policing and a crime database program. There are no Australian police in Kiribati, although Canberra has pledged to fund a new police radio network police barracks, and 2 maritime security advisors are supporting Kiribati police in maintaining a donated patrol boat. Kiribati is a nation of 115,000 people whose closest island is 1,340 miles south of Honolulu, and the news of Chinese police working there comes as Beijing renews a push to expand security ties in the Pacific Islands in an intensifying rivalry with the United States. Coming up next is the weather and tide report for American Samoa. And that is your latest update from your KVZK TV News. Thank you for joining us, American Samoa. So far, so ifua.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZK TV, Pango Pango, America Samoa. You are watching KVZK TV Channel 2, Pango Pango, American Samoa.
Te whatalofa o tamik Samoa le nei tula le aso. O lo mtanga nuenga nei o soifua maloloina. Le alo lalo pea taita inga le whatonsili. Ia motu sātu le manua. Ia alo ngō pen. Ia malopo kalama masangi nei alo mtanga nuenga. E whailo toi fo inisi fo fuanga o lo tamwhai toi le nei mtanga nuenga manisi o na paanga. A wale tautua pala au nanga mo o Samoa. Ia le nei whai aso. Bena tūtanga i mai. Ia. Lua whaatasi mai fo nisi o tina. O le nei mtanga ruenga po nisi fo i o mato whai paanga le nei vaitau. A wani fo fuanga fo i a wan masina fo o mati. La tato alo tue whai unga nei vai aso. O le vai aso fo. Ai ni te iau tue te lea nisi au tala tue whai. Ia le pia la wha solo toa lau tū tau mtau. O le lau tū tau mtau. O le tina nei ipu unutoa. O io se tasi fo i o taitai o isi fo i po kalama. O ofisa tū to tono nei mtanga ruenga. Ia, ma i le tū tamatau fo i le tina nei aipu. O le tina fo i a masina ume. O seisi fo i po kalama o lo i e tina nei. Pena tōtanga i mai o mato ngā lue whātasi. Ala ui tū tawanga vale. Ia o le tina nei a Esther Solaita. O ia lo ngā lue nei le mtanga ruenga le Vogue Rehab. O lo lalo taita inga le whātonsili. Ia Dr. Tilo. Ia pena o ta ueste me sola. O le ala sa walbari mai fo i o nemtanga ruenga e whailo at fo in fo fuanga wan masin fo. Ai la tua trola wanoa e le tina ia ipu. Mosa na ia whaasoa posan whamtalanga tusai fo i malato o mai le nei aso.
Ia, maro se fo pen, tai mo whapilo inga le nei i tino le aso. Ia, whapilo e fo i le mamalo na tunu o lo whaafonga mai po kalame le nei by Jamie. O le masina o mati o whaunga ina i le po kalame nei whaalau i loa tue tatou atunu. O le masina o mati o le ala lau i loa ai pe whaamanatu ina ai ia le tā ua o tangata o alo ia ma whanau ia le ngata po i leo tangata matatua. O loo iai ia le mele ta o le Developmental Disability. Ai fesili mai po le ali winga o le Developmental Disability ia
o le whaamalamalama anga whaawhaingofi ia o le tūlanga lea o whaale tonu o le tino, po o le mawhauwhau, po o le ngangana, ia po o le amio foi. E mau ai se tasi mai le temi o la ititi ai o tupu ai. Ia e mawhai ona tū maule i le olanga atoa lava. Ia e iai la ia tatou ainga ma o ma tō tino tatou atu nuu. E iai ia tūlanga ia. Ia o le masina lau mati. Ia o le aua wha au tuina mō le au nanga i tangata i Developmental Disability. Ia ma o le au tu o le masina o le wha Samoaina o le o se lalolangi o Avanoa. A wha Britania. Ia a world of opportunities. Ia o le tūlanga la e tāu ai ona te tau ona whaalau i loa ma whaatau aina fo ia vaenga o lea soifua i le au nanga e tatu te whaia. Ona o lea fo o le mea nei a mata mai condition nei a mata mai te mio la iti ai. Ia mai whanau mai e tangata ma tūlanga ia pe ona iaia nisi o whanau pe e polisalva ai pe e le mawhai ona tautala e mawhai ona savali tūlanga esi whapena o te rofe o te rola tūlu ua whaalongo tūlanga le i whanau e mau en melio le autism tūlanga o loo wawai atua whaatuptele ina i tono tatu atunu. Ia o mea uma ia la ve o mea lalo whaamaru leo le Developmental Disability. O te iloa o le tā ua la watu le mātou mai i lo suifua manoloina. Ia whaamanatu pe a inga mātua e ave whanau e whai ala tau talavai talo mai ona whananau e tā ua ona siaki e le fō mai siaki e tenta si mai whai tui pupuia. Ia mawawai po le meo o lo o soifua maola le tametiti i le whaatulanga na tauna iai pe o atoa le tausanga o savali pe o tautala ai le mawhai ona i roan mena pe a le sau ea me lau tama e vai le fō mai mawhai ana tui pupuia mawhai tūlanga ina i pupuia sanga le muma le soifua manoloina o whanau a wapela i eia tūlanga wapea ia e iai au nanga wa iai tatou malo e mawhai ona tautua ma fisosoani e i mātua ma ai ngolo iai whanau ia te loi e se whaupopo tina ia e se tai le tūlanga a se ta.
Ia whawhitai lava molo wawanoa e ngade to e whaupopo atu lava e le sanoanga fo ia tamatai aipu o Developmental Disability e o se tūlanga lea wawhaina ai le tina po mawhauwhau tu sai fo i o le whapulanga aipu whanau mai ai le atoa le luas futasi o tausanga ina ia manino iai i le atu e iai le taimi whaamutai fo from 0 to 21 a whaila a whaina ia so walo po seisi fo i te iloa na whainga i tutungo time period lea ia o ia lai lalo ai o le whaalaputuputonga lea Developmental Disability o tausanga i o le olanga po soifuanga o tangata o lo o develop bea ai le imatua awa e umalo lusu tasi o tausanga ia wa whaitau o tangata matua e le o koe developing alo o po naivi po isi vaenga lo tino o le mea nga e whaataua i nai a tātou le masinga nei o mati mō nai tangata nei ina ia manatua i pea lātou ma whailoa toi fo i le atunu a inga ma i lātou uma o loo iai lalo lili o lea e tāua lātou toi o loo iai au nanga le tonu le o le tātou community tonu Ameriksamo e mwhai ona sosoani atu i mana o ngā lo mana mia e se sosoani.
Sa me whaka ngai se ta awe i se tangata whanau mai e atu le malos ai alu pe se nga wenga po se me pena ri atu lu fruta sanga ia e mawhai ona whaina pe o le tangata mo le stroke pe pale tono el savali po o le whaasolo ina o information I tono lona mawhau to inga me pena so o tangata umala e mai tau laro ma tawa ina o masina ne o mati e au nanga pe o le tina ia masina mana tau vaenga e tama whai ai fo ina ia prevent pe tau fi mai ai le tama I titi ina ia o atu I le tūranga le o le disability masina te mana ai pa lau e te le tūranga le tū au nanga
Partai la mo le vano ia pe o mato ko kalama le o le ainga manuia no mato ko I pape ngai ko I matulanga o Tamaiti o le tulanga ko I pena sa no ai pele tina ia I pu ia me se pele tina ia I se I le pape fa na mai lo Tamaiti ti lo ta to se fa le to mo ai it takes time pe ko na sa no atu ipu e tauna ia sala vai patulanga ina e la to le Tamaiti ti e asi le po mai na iloa e la ia na ina ia symptoms pe e koe tūlanga koe whale tonu e mawhai e koe na whamatala ina le pō mai le tūlanga le o le tamai titi lea so a whapea la walawa e se mātou tūlanga koe o le tamai titi o la I pō ma whaitala vai ai atu mātou asi o lo e tūlanga whale tonu e mawhai na I pepa pole he papalangina o le referral e whailonga referral o le mātou I tamiti au nanga ia le e mātou paanga e mawhai e hoi no so soani la tō I nei whanau hoi. Ai le tu ua I lawa mātou au nanga I mātou pokalama. Le tūlanga hoi whamoe whanau le wai ai. O se whaopopo atu nā le tūlanga hoi o le nei masina le la masina po la papito mo Tamaiti nei.
Whaftai, se manmanga I le whaasua o nei tina fwoi, tūsai fwoi mo le whapulanga o tatumta apule nei tai au. But for everyone else, the month of March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. So what the rest of my guests have just shared, not only are we here to create awareness, but also to let the public know we have available services. Available services to help detect some of these disabilities early on. Te miwa whanau mai ai, matuputupu wae le tamaititi. Wae ngato alom whanau. Lena maua tu fo I le saunoanga mai le tūlea. E eisi tangata e masalo ngai se menga lawea ai. Peo ngai nganga trigger e loa sisi ngase. Pero se ta inga stroke lenga ta ua. A peo a vea ma mea wa impair ai le speech wa le mwhaina tau tala. Or alu pe se whala lave whafo se ina tupu. Ai mai whunau wa po elwa ai. May cause blindness or deaf. Well, leanga whaalongo. Manei atele. Pianto whaasoa mai. Disability Awareness Month is, I know this is something that we all need to look out for all year round. But for the month of March, pia leala wa designated whatawinai. Ta tonu fo I tele fo nisi fo fuanga wai o le ngale o fai paanga. Ele ngata le Department of Health. Ia manisi fo I mtanga ruenga. Ai le ngata ilea. I tūlanga la le officers esen malo. Au isi fo I NGOs. Sa lolo e nisi in the community o lo to ngalulue whaatasi. A wale tautua ina o sio tatua tunu. Ai re I tato se atula lisi ofisili. Le pe ai atu pe e se whapopo.
Te whaasoa tua. I le polokalama mua lava. E whea ngai mahalum whanau nei. O le polokalama le Part C. O la na. O le age group o la is from 0 to 3. Ia. E le oi nei seisi o le vaanga na alea la tauta la to I pe le tūlanga lea. Ia nga sa lewa hui tausanga o mato ngā lue whaatasi ma la sa a mataina mai polokalama. O le Part C la o le au nanga la from 0 to 3 o ina evaluate ai la ma va ai lopo a ia tu a inga sosoani mo la mo whanau nei la iti ina ia sosoani a la fo ia ai whawhitauli po leanga savali wa koinga kokolo fa pena ia e fai la tu ka alonga fo ngi ka mo e tamiti e o aku ko lu ka sa ka mo e mala ko na me kikila ia nga ko ya lu lo le o ia ile ia unga regular school ai afa pe o le tamiti wa e la e ko ngoli o le nga lu lo le special education wa lo le sila sanga fa penale le fa wow ia isi services la na ia ele o I fo isi silvanga special education ai ta wala to mo tamiti nei le o ingo la to ia a o isi na vaenga ia sonole o le mato vaenga le fa ta weina le masinga nei o vaenga special education o le vaenga le part C e ka fo no mai vaenga le DTPC o le OPAD ia mamatou ia ko kolu le uma ko ngofo ngai
tai fa no po fai singa kele mo kai kusi le we ta wa ai na I manino fo fa fonga mai si o tatu tunu o le kele mo kai kusi o longo winga ko kele ka ka lo to fai pa anga wa le mera le o le tele o lima mai fo si avenga ai me se fo ia e lo o ye mana onga fa pitoa nei wa le fa pe en fainga mo wa lo le nga se va kul fora au ki wa lo ka minga ai you're gonna need help. And that's why you just named a list of departments, even Taitusi. So, the public can feel comfortable that we have a partnership going with a lot of people to provide as many services as we can on island. Morsila fiosio tatua tunu. Ai ri tato fatala noala tu langa wa tertonu. Tele lavani to fofonga mon masina ni o mati la tatua lo tuai. Ole fesili. Wai telo taimi. O lun ta upu nei o mana onga whapitua. I oe o te whaftai mātua. O lo vaia tūlanga ia I la tō whanau. Ngā oala I whaikala vai. Vai fō mai. Vai uma services lo iei. O la usili la. E whawhia la mātua. Po tangata whapea. O leo vaia tūlanga ia. O lo tupu mai la tō whanau. Ai. Ele mana oi. E pele o talia la tau, o lo ye se me o tupulo nalo. O lo ye se mana onga whapitoa. Masalo, tailo ye. Masalo po se tūlanga vili peole pole ma pe in denial. Po isi ia whaupunga sa se whalongoi. Ina ia manino tatom ta langa. This is part of the awareness. Mo e o lo in denial o le o ye se manatu I lea tūlanga. La se to whaasoa, la se to manatu I le neia fesili o tuatua. Po se tua lalo foi. So swani foi mo e lo whaarondongo mai foi pe mai mo tato pokalama. O lo ye so swani e, but sometimes the help is only useful if you use it. Wa e lai loa, ai pe o le musu, po le mata I lo ye, la se manatu la fotu tato lau whaman mole.
Ma tango fien fesili e ta o fesili na nai o fesili le e te lai na mato ma fau ia ai le o lava ona fa tala no ina le la utalia tu a se lo pulo o tanga ta fainga luenga o le soi fo malolo ina ai utalia tu o tina on tametite e ona mana unha fa pitua ia o te mi umalawa o te tala noa ma o whaasanga I se mātua o whatoa I loa lea ua ia ile mere tupu lantama. Ele o se mea whai ngofi, so ele ma whai ea o na fosil mātua. E whai ai, e talia ina lole mere o tupu, a mataloana o na talia au nanga. Lea ai, lana o na o fo ia o le natu langa, ele o se mea whai ngofi. Ai e mawhai ona whaatala noa ina ma whaamalama mātua. O lea e iai au nanga o lo maua I lalo mālua o Amerika Samoa. E mawhai ona whesosoani pere atoa pere tau ai ia le mana onga o le tametisi temina. Ai olo o iai tangata puna wai mat ngā lulu e man whaamaoni e whaia au nanga ni mo tato whanau. O le teimi ala e talia I le mātua. E tauwhi ona awila vanoi mātua ina ia lato maua se teimi mawhau whawai ma talia ai ia o le ua ese le tūlanga o ai ele o se tūlanga fa le tonu o se tūlanga ma pe ele se fa moe ai e tauna ye se ava no e tu i mātua but ile teimi lawe tasi at the same time reassure le a inga ma mātua o lea iei le fesosoani e mawhai ona maua ia ona mawhai lola i ona maua se fesota inga continue to inform the family about services ile ngata i lau oia ia pokalame ia au isi au nanga pe o fai ngā pāanga le fai ele matou council nei e au na i whanau matangata umalawa e mana ngā whakatoa mena tā wan masina nei le whamela au tū o se lalolangi o Avanua te lau taimi ele mau e tangata i ni Avanua Avanua whai ngā luenga Avanua e mau wai se awa o ngai tutono o potua o ngai tutu sa matamete le ini ni mana o ngā whapitoa Avanua e titi e lunga o le pasi o isi tamete o i no fuata avalevale afi arula i se mea la tul pasi le i se mea mawhai se lunga whatantari le pasi la i le o mea whapena e te tau ona tupu le ina i le mea tau le awareness lift the awareness so that American Samoa can be a community where disabilities is everybody's priority ina ia whaamua ina i tangata ia mana o ngā whapitoa nei ia equal umatato ia te tau I so se mea lawe tato te o
Whafutaipu, I thank you for sharing that because for our viewers, listeners, don't feel ashamed if you have developmental disabilities, as the ladies have mentioned, or one of your kids, our children, has someone. Don't feel ashamed to come and ask for help because help is available here on island. That's why part of the awareness for this month and all year round with the services you guys provide, to let the public feel comfortable knowing that there's help here. I mean, I understand if parents and families, they feel you have to do mamau, you want to go off island for a stroll, that's okay too. But what we also have some of these services on island, and that's part of this awareness. So don't be ashamed, don't feel shy, embarrassed, whatever it is, we want you to feel comfortable. And when you're ready, folks here are here to help. So I thank you for sharing that as not as a staff, but as a parent, because ele se ngaluenga whaingo fie 24/7 for yanginga luenga whaftai, not only for you, but for all of you folks out there that's taking care of anyone, whether it be children or adults with disabilities, because it goes both ways. Ele whailonga tangata, puai, puango tamaiti e whaasinoia, ngase ia. Ai, le lalo manino, al masinga lao mati. O ani fufuanga o tāpena ele ko council. Mo ne masino mati wa katkongo maki first day of March, o les whali de nei e pole. So au tatonu laure, wa so fou anga I luma. O ani fufuanga o tāpena ele tō council mo ne masina whamanmore.
Ia ela wa matatu ina ia matau fufuanga o man whaataatia. O le council nei o le council tu whaatasia pe ona iai pāanga e tō tele ai lalo le taita inga o le matau taita I fono, lau fono le sunga ia motu sātu le manua o le whaatono o le matanga renga so fo malolo ina. Ona e se male tā ua fo I o le population o disabilities I le au nanga so fo malolo ina e le ngata I le o isto matanga renga e tele malo. Ai mata loa ia mati o le aso sā nei le aso tolu o mati. O le whai ai se sauninga whapitoa I le CCCJS I whangatongo I le itula e tolu I le awhiawhi. O le sauninga le te tala loa I ai I le nei masina tāua ia mai wala au li ai a inga ma lava ma I la tolo ia disabilities e o mai tato te tapuai ma whaafo I le pi inga le tua ia ma te talo mo te inga le tua le nivu tau sanga I au nanga e sapsapaya ia le community o tangata e disabilities ia umalo le aso sālia ona so orola ia la songa fua le so atua ia la so wha o mati ia o le awhai le talo alonga po le wave e mato te tato te o umai talo alo lunga le awala ma whai loi tangata la foi la tau ta avale ma sawa le wali foi le tai au ia o le matua i toa te le tangata e supports ma tama whaina ia whaatupulia le awareness i le tūlanga leo disabilities, for developmental disabilities.
Ipo, o la tala to e Samoa. E lua no whaanga i whai ele wave. Tasi o Iupu David, mele ele singa ula. E o maila e la tau le la kalaka i fo iai. A o I Lumon McDonald, o le a wave ai fo ili si o wanga. Ele tai au le la songfua. E a matala le afo le umu le tai au. Afa leono i le afa le fitu. Ia wa uma ka alo alo. Ai tā ua fo. Ofu seo, ofu lang moli. Wear something orange.
Fusi mailo se mela na moli. Seila na moli.
Yeah. Wear something orange. Ma e ka alo alo.
Fai me sau sai. Po sau pepa tu siai runga ni fa upunga I support developmental disability awareness month. So nga me fa pena e fa yo fa ala wi lo ai. Ia le tā wo fo ni masi. Uma loa ia le aso nga fua lia. Ia o le aso lulu na vai aso lia, le aso ono. Ia o le a fai e me ta o le parent forum I te tonu o le tiwa le I ta funa. Le fali ta alo le ane matanga luenga o tina ma a talabo. Ia e wala au lia ai ia tangata uma lava o me se mātua ma a ingolo tausia ia whanau nei o tangata po consumers o lo iei disabilities. Lana o lela iei uma ia ofisa ma au nanga iei tautua mo tangata disable. Ina ia mawhaiona whai la tau fesili, ia mawhai ia la tau wala mai whatau sanga o la tau fia mana mai, ma fia mawai ia se whamatalanga. Ia o le aso tonu ale amateleiva asa.
Amateleiva,
Amateleiva e tau se fulu mane lua.
Tau se fulu mane lua.
Ia
maua fo ile mea ai fua.
Mawala uipu mea ai. E maua fo ile iei fo ile me tau le stipend e maua e mātua. Pe ma fai ona fa maoni o e ona mātua. Fa pere o e se mātua. Ia fa maruru atu ele se me maua e ai. E a fo e wala awa tu ai I mātua umala paulo fa funga te lau teimi. Fai mea ia. E fiu e fa atari ni mātua mani aina. Ai te ele i o la tō siri fai mai tua pe a mātua atu e tal fatantan noa so o le aso lea fa aso lulu fa amore mole se su mai le tiwa e maualo wa no e fa ia ofisili pule o pe ia ofisili a mai ai ia baba ai o la ai uma matanga luenga ia taona ia o nanga mo tangata disable. It's very important that family members, parents especially show up because we don't pass out enough information or not enough is understood between consumers and service providers. So this is an opportunity for people to ask questions, get their answers, and then also network and know each other. Because if we don't start talking to each other,
so le lala wa mata neile to pokalama neile ngata pokalama tātou lo pu e temi nei. Le church service to kick off the Disability Awareness Month will be this Sunday at Whangatongo at 3 p.m. And it's open to everyone. Especially families, loved ones, friends with the disabilities that you guys have been talking about. And then Monday, just to clarify, there'll be a wave in 2 locations Monday morning. One in front of McDonald's and one in front in Utule, Swinga Ula. So if you are out there and you see these good folks wearing orange, that's what they're waving. They're waving you to not only create awareness, but to wish you a good day. So Monday morning will be the wave for not only us, but for all our partners too and families. I honor uti for tato taimi. O tarton tele ni fesili. Tele ni fesili e o lo tamfai me pesi o tato atu no po ai lava lo fa fon foma tat pokalama. E ese numera, en whainavala au mai to tonu tangata pe whai se fisili fi mamala ma atili ni fofuanga foi o tonu le masino mati.
Ja, en whaona vili man mato ofisa le ono tolu wha o valu. Mato ofisa le uwhanga tonu I talenga whare meri. Ia sa wali atu. Ali ai fo I vili man le wata siva le ofisa soifua malolo ina. Ian whaela I la vaenga me tu umai po masina. Ia po ai lava matou ia au na tu I pokalame nei e vili mai ai a oe se talalo no me.
Ono iva tasi tolu fitu tasi. O fitu tolu tasi lua.
So if anybody has any questions directly for you, 633-4008, bafai wa e fifa alongo ileleo a ipu, e tali 12 sili. Or Esther to my left is 699-1371. Afai e ngalo manengu mela, a wa fai singa kete. Tar tonu le la umava kulunga le aka la ufenga duenga fa ilo tuaile ngata le ka lena mon masino mati. E lay out umai fofuanga lo tapena le council, ma numero telefoni. Au se numela fa fengo fia fo si o tato atu nu. Lua tasi iva, wala au mai tonga numero nga pa fa ini o fasili patino lava mo fofuanga po tapenanga fo nei masina. Ai fa moli o le service, le opening service le fa ele kick off and masina nei o le aso sa nei. Whanga tongo le CCCJS I le tolu le fiafi. So anyone is welcome to join. But before our time is up, I want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for making yourselves available. We don't have enough conversations in Nimta Upo developmental disabilities or disabilities in general. So mele faftaya tuai I toina itinafo favanola time yo tartono tele ane we fuelo waso ale favanola lavane yaso awal my mom my face yo tato atunu. So I thank you again. If you have any questions, the uma fai lotu I avevo ne taimi fa malulu to fo le malu si tato nu. Pe fa yo ese upo le ngana o papa pe sasi fo wai tartonu. Ni me uma tate fai atonu e le leile intention ai ato to fo. Mele mato te fa malulu to ai o pen mon wia lava fo ngare nei aso so fua mai manuia.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZK TV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVZK TV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
O tō whāwhonga le pai o raso I se tōng whainga le nei kalasia. Ia maua sa veinga o le tua. A whai o iai pe o le mātu whai atu le amtanga. I lai seisi atu o toa. Ai nā un whautuanga. O la whai atu le mātu taurunga. Mai mātu te walau whaloa fōle tinaro nei sinoti. E kalasia matisi le whalatua le whionga le lisea. Ia I tu au mila mai whau. Sa e taurunga le tātou whawhiawhianga. Te whai sin koma le siofo le koma siri ma le whalatua le luten kovana. Ai walaot ma le whaaloalo le lado leo le Pasifika, lado leo Amerika Samoa, ma le lado leo le Mosaoi. Taurunga ina le whawhiawhianga le notis. Ai uli, malai whono, tapunuu, whangata, tangata uma siwa maitua.
Paftayat, pauneo le karasia, e whaatanga on tātu tau whaiwhiau. Paftaytele paio whawhengangi taulangi, le karasia me tisi o tō whaere lea, ona o le saolo tō e karasia le asa whamalo whaftai. Lata
Tulangi
ia o le mako saur ngā le komiki, ai kārsanga koe lau pia ngā le masiofo le kovanga, pa pefo le masiofo le sui kovanga, ia mo le pawhiawhianga le whai ungo le ngai aso, au kalvou ka koliko pango Samoa, papatai.
mo lau talavotu fatasi le Ekalesia Katoliko puleanga Samoa Pango pa malofa aftai mutanga luenga sai ma mutanga luenga sifo o le fusuia ina o le proklame ma fua le fusuia inga o no o le ustai tatou au talavou na batu le amanoe 20 minuti lau talavou e pete iane to titi atoa le tula atoa lau talavou e to tasi o le melea a maea le Ekalesia metisi tau lunga leo le aso le Ekalesia whapopitola ki Usiano i Amerika Samoa o la usiva mai Swains malilia la usiva Swains o la tola talaina lo ia taewa ena pe asopo soifu malola wala watu man whalalo ia wala mo Swains payon talamaya wala mo Swains nei teimi o te toi fautu atu man whalalo whapopusa anuanga mfitalengo laso tanga i laso langa tatou e teimi o man whataota sauni mai le Ekalesia metisi. O tulanga o le aso. Lai wa umana tola niu le vaa. O le atunu mana malo mana tua. Wa uma foi na pai unu fanua. I le fitalenga le fongo le aso. Tulanga falupe le so. Le toi o foi ai so matou leo. Wa le mo fai na matou fa poina pe matou tauto e seina. Ia pa ia mo ia malu yo na tulanga falupe. Al ne vas. Boni a foi te lenga a pitiane. Wa so fa penei wa so up mutala. al mesina taua o le viinga o le tua ne la vaso ma nei masina fa mana tuina ai le ngafa va o le li ma le faola i lungo le sataro tanumia le tuka mau so i fu manu malo o le i oia le tua mo le lalolangi tungata ona o i tatou o le pale ali o ngā luenga le tua bua lai le tua viinga me uma lai la seisi e to e tau si fala pe si mtala langa aru nias ya langa le o fata auto e la to fa le fongo das e pe ona matu fa yatu tulanga falupe wa uma ona ka pena le teimu fan al nei teimu dai na matu fa pe ai o matu e momua ya no tulanga proklama ma faingal komiti yo le wa ma fuele tulanga o matu lon tolu o mesinu tau na ma fau o mo no right ya la utau foi mai tele o le kalesia ma tisino nei o matu o mai o la se me matu tem fai a wal talo fa lo alo pa io le malo a wal na so fa manatu mo na so fa nau a fai foi la le tau si fanga pe le te fa ka wal a fai foi la sala se ngana pe sas pat ya matu fa malu luat ite yane no ne taimi ya pe ona matu pero no atu taimi fa Elai o tulanga pe lava na umai la mtanga. Tala nga fa en ponga yai. Ya le la tau fayatu le kale se metis. La se me mfai. Ya. Ya to fa maria le silfanga ma fa ta. Ya ye manuel fa mo la so.
sanga e tō rua. O le tama matua o mila mai whau. A le tama lona rua. O le tō whai atu I atua o mai le la whanga o salai rua. O le ausi I whawhonga. Yoane te te. Yoane te te.